Well, yes, the Denver Nuggets have been, as anticipated by yours truly, putrid ass this season thus far. Led by the atrocious, alleged all-star caliber guard Jamal Murray, who has never remotely sniffed a single all-star appearance in what will now be his 9-year NBA career. Murray, of course, was supposedly hurt during the playoffs last season, which is what resulted in his pitiful postseason performance. But he couldn't be bothered to actually get himself healthy this offseason, instead opting to stink it up all over Paris during the Olympics for the Canadian national team, where he looked even worse than he did in the playoffs last year, mind you, but none of that stopped the inept losers that are helming the Nuggets front office from giving this bum a 4-year, $208 million extension. And Murray, for his part, has exploded out of the gates to start the season. Exploded in his pants, that is.
I got poopy.
Averaging 18.8 points per game, 4.8 assists, and 5 rebounds on 37% shooting from the field and 35% shooting from the three-point line. The bench, of course, has also been a festering turd to this point, and accordingly, the Nuggets are terrible. While, yes, they are 2-2 at this point, they got boat raced by Oklahoma City in their opener before then dropping their second game to the Clippers at home, then winning back-to-back games to get back to 500, but needing overtime to beat the Toronto Raptors in a game they trailed by 15 in, and another narrow overtime win over the Nets, another game they trailed by double digits in multiple times. Yes, it's true. The Nuggets are ass and have absolutely no chance at winning anything this season, aside from possibly a first-round playoff series. Their minus 3.3 net differential tells the entire story this year, as that is good for 18th best in the league currently. But as bad as the Nuggets are, it is going to give us a glimpse at what might possibly become the greatest individual season in NBA history, at the very least, the best of this century. Now, I know, that is a bold declaration for someone in Nikola Jokic who has already won 3 of the last 4 league MVP awards. Someone who has led the NBA in player efficiency rating, win shares, value over replacement, and box plus minus for the last 4 consecutive years. And, well, yeah, he has been even better this season. Firstly, from an advanced analytics perspective, yes, Jokic is leading the league in all 4 of those advanced categories again for what would be a 5th year in a row now. No player in NBA history has ever accomplished that feat 5 times. His standard box stats are also ludicrous at this stage, as he is leading the NBA in scoring at 31.5 points per game, while he is 5th in rebounds at 12.3 a game and 3rd in assists with 9.3 nightly. That is while shooting 57.3% from the field and 55% from the three-point line. Literal absurdity. But perhaps the single most important metric to evaluate the level of value one player has is in their on-off metrics. On-off measures a team's performance per 100 possessions with a certain player on and off of the court. The single greatest on-off season this century, that is post-1999 to this current 2025 season, was none other than Kobe Bryant in 2005-2006. In that season, Kobe may well have finished a distant 4th in MVP voting behind Steve Nash, LeBron James, and Dirk Nowitzki in that order, but in addition to leading the league in scoring that year, while making first-team All-NBA defense, Kobe also led the league in on-off. And the winner of the award that season, Steve Nash, added 8.1 points per 100 possessions, while LeBron James added 14.3 points per his 100 possessions that season, which is the second best season in his entire 22-year career. Finally, Dirk Nowitzki added 10.1 points per 100. Kobe, who, again, embarrassingly enough for the NBA writers who voted on it, was a distant 4th in league MVP voting. But not only was he more valuable, far more so than any of those players, but he actually had the most valuable season in the last quarter century based on on-off numbers. Kobe registered a plus 19.2 per 100 possessions that season. The Lakers' net offensive rating that year was the best in the league with Kobe on the court, and the Lakers' net O rating was worst in the league with him off of it.
With me, without me. With me, without me.
To put that 19.2 number in context, LeBron's best season of his entire career was plus 15 in 2009-2010, where he did in fact win league MVP. Meanwhile, the only unanimous MVP in NBA history, Steph Curry, during the Golden State Warriors' 73-9 campaign, was plus 14 during his 100 possessions per game. And finally, Nikola Jokic last year, in his third league MVP campaign, added 18.9 points per 100 possessions, a number that led, substantially so, all of the other top 10 MVP finishers. The runner-up for league MVP a year ago, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, was second among all of the other top 10 NBA MVP finishers. Shai was plus 10 last year, while third-place finisher for the award, Luka Doncic, was plus 8.4. So essentially, if you are a plus 10 or greater, you're MVP caliber, while if you are near 20, it's a historically great season. And to this point of this NBA season so far, Nikola Jokic is currently sitting at an absolutely mind-blowing plus 42.9. Yes, Jokic is adding 43 points per 100 possessions. The guy many have been touting as the frontrunner to this point for league MVP, Anthony Davis, actually has a negative 7.2 currently, meaning the Lakers are losing 7 points per 100 possessions that he's on the floor. Now, don't get too excited, Bron stans. That doesn't mean James is leading the way in LA, as LeBron is currently adding a negative 8 per 100 possessions that he is on the court. And look, we can do this all day. Jason Tatum this year is minus 10.6. And now, okay, Shai is plus 9.2. But again, people, Jokic is at nearly 43 points per game added. Now that number should and will decrease throughout the season, but what we are seeing is likely his best season yet. Now, he likely won't get anywhere near the league MVP this year, just like Kobe in 2005-2006, because Jokic this season, like Kobe that year, will barely win 45 games. But if you are really looking at what really matters in terms of value added to a team, we are on the cusp of seeing something truly special, and yet tragic, like Kobe's plight in the mid-2000s with that trash heap of a lineup around him. Because we will be seeing with Jokic, like with Kobe, an all-time legend with absolutely no chance of competing for a championship. But at the same time, we will be in for a fun and very enjoyable season, because just like with what Kobe did back then, Jokic will be assaulting the NBA and pushing the barriers of what we previously thought was possible.